his name.
Mike Brown.
Say 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 his name.
Mike Brown.
Justice for.
Mike Brown.
Justice for.
Mike Brown.
Justice for.
Mike Brown.
On pavement not so different from the pavement that you all are standing on. 4.5 hours. A young man left lifeless on the street with no care at all. For 4.5 hours. For 4.5 hours. For 4.5 hours. Four and a half hours. For those in the plaza, for those in your cars, for those that are filled, why you are inconvenienced? Because Mike Brown laid on the ground for 4.5 hours. And yes, I'm pissed. We pissed. Leslie is pissed. Mike Sr. is pissed. The Brown family is pissed. And St. Louis is pissed too.
Whole world pissed.
So we ain't concerned about your inconvenience. We've been inconvenienced for so long.
Oh, one of you.
So with that being said, if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
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 if we don't get it,
Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down.
We will continue pushing these issues. We will continue to fight for justice for Michael Brown, not only for him, for Breonna Taylor, for George Floyd, for Von Derek Myers, for Mansour Ball-Bay,
Amen.
for
Amen.
everybody in this
Amen.
region who we know has suffered injustice. We have to keep up the fight. We have to stay strong. The whole world stood still because of his death.
Amen.
The modern day Black Lives Movement in existence right now is because Mike Brown died. If Mike Brown had not died, none of this would be happening right now. So there's no way you can be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Don't stop. Keep pushing. Keep asking. Keep saying. Keep demanding. We want justice for Mike Brown. Say his name.
Mike Brown.
Say his name.
Mike Brown. Follow up on the body cameras in Jeff City.
In Jeff City, we went to, I was with Jamila Nasheed, the then senator, and we went to testify for Senate Bill 628, which was for police to wear body cams. When my son was killed, there was no camera, there was no body cam, there was no dash cam. He didn't have any of that stuff set up on his squad car. So we were really left without knowing the truth of the situation, without witnesses coming forward to tell us what they saw. So that's why testifying for body cams was so important to me. I know a lot of people didn't feel like, you know, they were used for, that they would work in situations, but we speed ahead to 2020, and what have we here? We have George Floyd's murder captured on camera, and that's the strongest piece of evidence that they could have towards these officers to say that this was a cold, callous act, and at no point were you just, you know, trying to arrest him. You were using excessive force for absolutely no reason. We don't know where the city and the county is on the whole use of body body cams because everything is so secretive. You know, they get these big budgets and then they decide how they're going to split the money up. And we see on the local news that they've decided to do 100 or so cameras per officer. They want to try it out. What's there to try out when you know that the truth always needs to be told in a shooting? You know, you have so many different perspectives, witnesses, the officer himself, and then the victim is dead. Why aren't cameras good? I mean, you know, why don't you feel that they're needed to tell the truth of the victim, to tell his side, because he's no longer here to tell his side. So, I don't really have an answer about where they went with the whole body cam thing, but I've continued to fight. And I still think that cameras are important. And I encourage people that when you see interaction with the police, with people of color or anybody, and it doesn't look like they're doing the right thing, yes, pull your camera out and record them. You definitely should. I'm fighting for mental health wellness across the board for all families and anyone who's had to witness a traumatic issue and they need help with that. This is very important to me, and I'm so concerned about the children that were out there that day that this grows up in, and now we see them a part of the protest, and they're asking for help. They want to be treated equal. They want to be seen equal. You should not be judging me off of my attire and what I wear. That's not fair to us. We have to do better. We have to do better.
We're in Louisville, Kentucky right now?
Mm-hmm.
And so can you tell me something about the Kentucky Alliance?
Yes, we're a nonprofit organization. We are the Kentucky Alliance Against Political and Racial Injustices. We also occupied ICE before this, the ICE building, but we kicked off this occupation for 78 days now for Breonna's Park. So with that too, we have other organizations that also been working with us as far as other direct actions outside the park.
So you told me Kentucky Alliance was some Black Panthers and some...
Yeah, how it got started? Yeah, just Black Panthers and White Allies. I don't know if you heard of Carl and Braden, but this couple, the White Allies, they had their house caught on fire. They went to jail because they kept doing business with Black people. So that's how it came about. The Black Panthers and them got together, and for 30 years now it's been going. So
wow.
So we provide pretty much just supplies and food for the protesters, water. We also provide medics over there. Normally in the evening, like a little bit of security, but that's pretty much about it. So we just, no justice, no peace. We're gonna keep being out here until...
A little bit. Can you enlighten the world about what happened to Breonna?
Yeah, she was at home. It really started out from a plan from gentrification. Did you hear about that?
No, ma'am.
So it's kind of got deeper ties. The Breonna has kind of brought out the wrong structure system as far as like the mayor, the fraternity of the police, and how that one house was sold the next day for $1. So we just found that out. Well, we knew about it, but it's just like with this case, it's interesting because it implies so many different things, and also for her boyfriend Kenneth Walker, you know, when the gun rule applies when somebody comes unannounced. But out of all of this, they did ban the no knock, no warrants, no knocks. So. But there's still a lot to do.
No warrants, no knocks. What do you mean by that?
You have to have announcement. They didn't announce themselves, and that would, for anybody like Kenneth Walker, if somebody just breaks in the door, you might shoot at him. So he was justified just protecting his girlfriend while she was asleep.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. Well, you got to think about it, right? somewhere like too large, they get like $300,000 in the bank, you know. Lafayette Square probably has like hundreds or so.
How we doing there, ma'am?
Hi there, how are you?
I'm doing great. And election day, huh?
Election day. Hey, I'm out here supporting Cori Bush for Congress.
And so she's a nurse. Tell me about it.
Cori's a nurse. She's an activist. She's a mother. She has worked her way out of poverty. She has put herself through nursing school. She has lived the real life. She is a supporter of the real person.
I know that's right.
Yep, and she's active, and she's active in St. Louis, and she will be active in Washington, and it's time for a change. We've seen what Representative Clay has done, and he's not a bad guy, and her votes will not be very different from his, but in most cases, but she'll be active, and she'll be present, and she'll be here, and we've seen what he can do, and it's just time for someone new.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
You know, as we're talking, give me your name, first name again.
Hey, Brian, my name's Kari.
Kari. So as we're talking, one of the hottest things people are talking about right now in the world that has to do with Kim Gardner is there was an incident, Black Lives Matter, some people were walking down the street, there were some people waving some guns. You said you were there. Can
I
you
was
tell
there.
us, tell us a little bit about what happened.
Yep, so I was there at the protest, and the protest was going along just fine. And the protesters were on Kings Highway, and at some point the group broke into two. Now at that point I was across the street on Kings Highway and kind of standing directly across the street from the gate that they went into on McPherson Street. And
Excuse us. Oh no, you're fine, excuse us.
And so I had seen some friends, and we stopped and chatted, and all of a sudden we're looking across the street and saying, wow, that looks like someone's got an assault rifle. And we could not see Mrs. McCloskey's gun because I guess we were across 4 lanes of traffic, but we could very clearly see Mr. McCloskey's gun, and it was surreal to watch that happening from across the street.
So were like people trying to run in his yard or something?
No, nobody was in his yard. No one was in his yard. In fact, I thought the protesters were really actually very calm.
So they were walking by. So tell me what you saw. People were walking by?
People were walking by. Well, they were walking by, and then the McCloskeys came out onto their porch, and the McCloskeys started. The protesters and the McCloskeys started yelling at each other, and then the protesters stopped there, and I learned later through video, because I was too far away to see it, but I learned later that the organizers eventually got the protesters to keep going down the street. But it was amazing.
No reason maybe why they started yelling or anything like that.
Nobody was on his property. Nobody was rushing the house. People were on the street or on the sidewalk. And frankly, they were protesting to go down the street. They had nothing to do with the McCloskeys. They were on their way to the mayor's house. So.
Interesting. Well, we thank you very much. It's great to meet the wonderful people in the city of St. Louis.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you got them? Yep. I'm going to get this blue ugly car, and I'm going to give him paperwork, and that black truck got 5 people waiting. That means that your results will get them today. You're fine. You got enough. Hold on to that. You'll be next to You went to the rest, now you got the best. It didn't even hurt.
So this is some serious PPE we got going on, huh?
Yeah, yes, Lord. It ain't warm enough to. I'm telling you.
So folks are out here, we're doing COVID and flu shots today, ladies?
Yes. Come on double duty.
Double duty.
Keeping you safe, keeping you.
How many people do you think have come today?
So far, probably about 70.
70 people. Wow. Good morning. How are we, sir?
Hey, doing well. How are you today?
For the folks at home, could you please introduce yourself?
My name is Steve Roberts. I'm the state representative from Missouri 77 District, and I'm actually the chairman of the Black Caucus for our state's House and Senate.
And okay, so I'm glad you said it. What does that mean? You're the president of the Black Caucus. What's that mean?
Yeah, so I shape our legislative agenda for the House and the Senate, kind of our policies, what we're focusing on, and advocating for up in the state legislature.
And okay, and for folks at home, so you're the representative for the 77th Ward, and you go to Jeff City a lot to advocate for the people of the city of St. Louis.
That's right. So yeah, the Capitol is located in Jefferson City. It's a beautiful building, so I definitely encourage anyone who gets a chance to come up there. So I split my time between being here in my home in the city of St. Louis and then up in Jeff City, January through May when we're in our legislative session, to try to bring as many resources as I can back here to citizens in St. Louis.
And that's what all the professional talk. You tell the government what the people in St. Louis need.
That's right. You got it.
The nuts and the bolts. And behind us, I see a gentleman right now. We're doing COVID testing. We're doing flu testing.
Yeah, that's right. So we're at the Victor Roberts building, and when the virus first broke out, the 63113 zip in the city of St. Louis was one of the areas that was particularly devastated by the virus, and there weren't any testing sites here. So about 5 months ago now, we started this clinic. We've been doing it now, like I said, just over 5 months, tested thousands of folks, and today we've got flu shots as well. So the City of St. Louis Health Department donated the flu shots. We've got nurses from Affinia Healthcare providing the free COVID testing. We're one of the few locations where we test everyone. You don't need to have insurance. It doesn't matter. You don't need a doctor's referral. So we test everybody who comes. You know, the only way we're going to beat this is if we get as many folks tested as we can, so they know when to quarantine and take care of themselves.
Wow. Wow. Okay, let's talk politics really fast.
Okay.
So, as you said, you're the state rep. When were you elected? How long have you been in politics?
Sure, I was elected in 2016, was officially sworn in January 2017, and I'm really honored. I just won the primary for the Missouri State Senate for the 5th District to replace Senator Rashid. So the general election will be next week, but I'm really excited to be serving our citizens as a state senator.
And that is actually fantastic. So that's big what you just said. So you won the nomination. And so is it the 3rd of November we'll vote against your, or is it the Republican?
You got it, yes. So won the primary. So for the city of St. Louis, that's kind of when our main battles are in the Democratic primaries. So the general will be, that's right, on the 3rd. And then the inauguration will be sometime in January.
So you're gonna do for you the same thing. Let's talk politics again. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, Mike Pence. I'm listening.
Yeah, well, it's definitely going to be a tough race. I don't think the Joe or Kamala have it in the bag. So we need to get everybody out, as many folks to vote as we can. And I think we're going to have a historic turnout. You know, in my Senate race, we were looking at the numbers. We were only expecting at the most 22,000 people to vote in the primary. We had over 34,000 people turn out and vote in the Democratic primary. And that's just the primary election. So I would expect to see an even higher turnout in the general election.
And that's very powerful what you just said. It's all about voter turnout.
Absolutely.
Voter turnout.
And yeah, nothing's in the bag. So, you know, all of our candidates need to work as hard as they can, make sure they get out, do what you need to do. If you need to vote early, do it now. Don't wait, because who knows what's going to happen, you know, with the mail and ballots coming in late. So vote in person or vote now.
Vote in person or vote now. Well, we really appreciate it, Mr. Roberts. We really appreciate what you're doing in the community with the COVID events. We appreciate it, sir. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you, sir.
Take care.